Welcome to this week's Vikings Report with Justin Ekstrom from KNSI Sports in St. Cloud, Minnesota, brought to you by Urbits and Gerberts.
Thank you very much for that stirring introduction. As usual, Matty G, you are the best. Justin Ekstrom here, reporting from KNSI Sports Studio in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I don't know what we're going to call this. We can maybe call this the purple purveyor of positivity. I'm not the most positive guy in the world. I'm usually pretty level-headed, but here goes nothing. We're going to recap the Vikings preseason. They were obviously 0-3, never got to see a whole lot out of any of the starters, which is fine. I don't even know if I want to see anything out of starters any preseason ever again. The preseason football, from what I saw, was very, very atrocious. One thing that comes out, though, is they try to build behind their main guys. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback. They had to find the guy who was going to be the number 2 quarterback. We thought maybe it was going to be Kellen Mond or Sean Mannion. Well, when they made their cuts down to the 53 on Tuesday, we find out that it's going to be Nick Mullins, of course, because they traded last week for him. And Kellen Mond and Sean Mannion are no longer there. Sean Mannion got scooped up by Seattle. Kellen Mond got scooped up by... It was reported that many teams were looking at him, but it sounds like the Browns got him now for sure. It looks like they were able to sign that former Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer failure over to them. So, wrapping up a little bit, they ended their preseason 0-3, which is not the biggest deal whatsoever. The big news came, of course, when they cut down their roster to 53 players. Major surprises that were cut were Armin Watts and Blake Lynch being cut. There was some speculation as to why a few of these guys were they're guys that performed pretty well last year and were looking pretty good in the preseason. They got cut. A lot of people are speculating that it's due to the purple making room for another big name, and Ndamukong Suh. I don't know if that was true or not, but it does not look like they have done that as of yet. Another big surprise is when B.C. Johnson's replacement turned out to be none other than Jalen Reagor from the Eagles. The Vikes sent a 7th and a conditional 4th-round pick to the Eagles for Jalen Reagor. And Jalen Reagor, of course, is part of that infamous video of Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman kind of laughing at Howie Roseman for passing on Justin Jefferson. We get Justin Jefferson 1 pick after the Eagles. I believe they traded up to get him, too. And they take Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor mostly is known for just not putting it together. He was kind of hurt here and there, and his very last play as an Eagle was a muffed punt in the playoff game. So I don't know if that bodes well for a lot of the Vikings fans looking, but as of now, he's going to be the 4th or 5th wide receiver on the depth chart. So it's kind of funny that we get rid of Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman, and the one guy they kind of laughed at, and it could show that, they actually drafted somebody halfway decent. That's the guy that Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah goes and gets. That should be a conversation for another day. But, so now, one other surprise came when Amir Smith-Marset was sent packing. A lot of people, including myself, thought he was going to be a guy that would be somebody to be able to move around all over the formation and kind of look good in this new look offense, but he's gone now too. And of course, Vikings Twitter is, kind of in an uproar because he was a guy that a lot of the fans kind of liked. But either way, we'll do our preview next week. That's the recap of the preseason. I do believe the Vikings should be sitting around that 8 or 9 win mark. We'll do the full season preview on our next Purple Purveyor of Positivity podcast or whatever we're going to future podcast to be named later or whatever, this little update. But thank you very much to Matt Geffrey, and we will talk to you guys next week.